So for RPG a day, I totally had the picture up a second ago, but then my computer had a fart. So, August the 6th for RPG a day. It's RPG that is easy to use.
Well, I know some ones that I would not answer for that.
Right?
So is everybody struggling? Because if so, I've got one.
Go.
I would say
I'm
go
gonna
for it.
have to go with Root by Magpie Games.
Oh,
It-
Root is fun.
It is fun, and it really is, a super simple system to pick up. It uses just 2d6. And yeah, it was kind of written for even young kids to play, and more towards a family experience than a group of friends, adult friends experience. And you're all anthropomorphic animals. And yeah, it's I've played it a couple times. I'm actually holding in my hand right now the core rule book, which I got. It was a Kickstarter campaign, and I got it, but never cracked it open. In fact, when I just cracked it open now, it had that wonderful spine cracking noise, and yeah, it was beautiful. So. And even your typical it's about as thick as your typical rule book, but the typical rule book is like 8.5 by 11 sheets, and this is probably 5 by 8 book. So yeah, pretty simple one.
That's a good pick.
And the a fun thing about it is it's also easy to port characters from other game systems into theirs, as long as you're keeping in mind that you are playing an animal. You're not playing a human who is shaped like an animal. You're playing the animal.
Mhm.
So you, it's delightful, and I play with kids, and it's delightful.
I always think of the Redwall series, by Burning Jacques. When I see Root.
It gives you those total, feels.
I don't think I know the one that you're talking about, Miss Kel.
The Redwall books. I'll have to find it for you.
But it's not a role playing game, right? It's a book series.
It's a book series.
Yeah.
Book.
Oh, okay.
So, if it wasn't, it was a real toss-up for me between Root and D&D 3.5. Very, very simple system right there to get into 3.5. No number crunching and spending weeks reading books to try to figure out your character build at all. No, nothing like that.
I was going to say, I would
plotting out 10 levels in advance.
A system that I like that was very simple is Fudge.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
System. Yep.
Fudge and Fate, yeah.
Fate is pretty fun. Like, I like that it's just it's either plus or minus, man. Move on.
Yep.
Yeah. Fudge is great. Fudge can get complicated if the DM wants it to be, but it also, because it's an open source game. So I mean, it's get used to the mechanic, and they make special fudge dice. It's like, all right, add up your pluses and minuses, and go. And the game that I ran in Fudge, we just did diceless. So it's like, if your skill is better than his, you win.
Oh.
That's
but also when you're like trying to define your character, it's like, you just, I'm good at this skill, and you just name a skill and and define it. It's like, okay, I'm good at this, and it's you don't have to go find a skill in a book and is this the one I want? Nope, I'm good at swimming. We know what swimming means, and so I'm.
Yeah, the cypher system
almost
would be like that, in that I mean, for the GM, I think it's probably a little more complicated, but the player side, it's like, I'm a X that does X, and that's like your whole character concept.
Which one is this that you're talking about?
Cypher system.
Oh, yeah.
Cypher system. You're a blank who blanks.
Yes.
Yeah.
That I believe Old Gods of Appalachia is set in that type of a.
Yep. That's the exact system it uses for that one.
Yep.
I still want to run one of those.
Let me tell you, it's really great right up until you have to start like figuring out, like you are a something that does something. Like I think I'm a mountaineer who calls home the beasts, and there's like, and I'm clever. I'm a clever mountaineer who calls home the beasts is my like catch thing. As soon as you start fighting and you're like, okay, I'm gonna spend 3 points, but I have a reduction of 1 point and I can do it twice, so that's gonna be a 5-point reduction, and my number is times 3. You're like, what the fuck am I doing?
And it puts all the math on the player. That's the big thing. Is it's all on the player.
Like we wrote it down on a little like cheaty sheet piece of paper, and let me tell you, my life is so much better because every Thursday I sit down and I'm like, how many points do I have again? But I mean, my gracious, is it fun?
Yeah, the character concept creation is just like super easy. Like I said, the GM has the hard part coming up with like the crazy gadgets.
Yep.
All the gadgets and all the stuff that you could find and that kind of stuff. So, the one-time artifacts and things like that. And
yep.
So
I played a couple of campaigns at system, and wildly different. But yeah, it's I don't know. It's a really simple. It's simple to design your character, but not necessarily simple to run. On my my nomination for not the easiest, and oh my god, what the hell were they thinking? Roll Master.
Oh.
I don't know it, and I don't want to after that description.
Well, the one time I played it, I got invited to, hey, let's do this, and we were in a bunch of experienced role players who had played many systems. It took us 3 nights to do character creation. It was
nice.
I mean, it's
very crunchy.
It is super crunchy. I thought GURPS was crunchy. No, this is or the hero system. Jesus Christ.
I miss GURPS.
I'm trying to think of what game it was my friend said that he had created. I think it might have been the hero system, but it took him like hours upon hours to create his character, and in the very last step his character became crippled. And he's like, what the, you guys, can I re-roll that last thing? Like, what is this?
It wouldn't have been hero, because hero is just a point buying system. There's no rolling on that.
Got it.
Roll Master, you do roll Master.
Sounds like could be like Twilight 2000 potential, because you age per time, 4 years per time you want to continue to advance your skills. So it's like, okay, well, I'm young, but I want to get some more shooting skills and maybe take on a new military career, because it's basically Polish bloc aftermath game.
World War
and
III.
you're stuck over in that region, and you can be any kind of branch of military from any country. And as you create your character, you're adding 4 years every time you decide, I want to try for a promotion, I want to try get this. So you can have things happen.
You're playing Houses and Humans. Like, that is not fun.
Hey guys, I've created the most badass character in the world. Except he's 84, so he can't do anything anymore.
Right?
It totally
he's really
sounds
good
like
at everything but walking. Like,
I mean, theoretically, yes, you could do that. I mean, or you could have a boot that doesn't do shit, doesn't know shit.
Like
Oh
when you
my
when
Sounds a
you
lot
play
like
in
how
Traveler and you end up
the
killing
character
yourself.
creation of Traveler.
Yeah. Traveler, where you totally actually kill yourself by accident and you have to start from scratch.
Gross.
Yep.
Like, why?
Because you want
Why
unlimited
not?
power and skills. You'll take that degradation in physical stats for extra skills.
Yeah, and you want to be that crusty old, gunnery sergeant or something, or lieutenant colonel or colonel, depending on how your promotions go.
That burnt out space trucker who worked in every military organization ever.
So I finally remembered the one I thought that I had the name right, and then I had to go double check myself. It's a game called Fiasco. And I know G and I played it with Corley once. I played it several times with Corley, but you just throw out what type of genre your TV show is going to be in, what kind of character, right? What kind of characters are going to be there, what your motivations are, and then you just have a television show that you switch from being the writers of the show to being the actors of the show. And there's rules where you get to be the highlight person, so this is your episode, versus this is an episode where you take a back seat while somebody else has a spotlight episode. It is ridiculously fun. I did a space one, I did a caper, and I did a western, and all of them were delightful.
And a fantasy one.
A fantasy one? What was the fantasy one?
I don't know. It was actually, that one was sort of a clusterfuck because you had it's because you had one person who didn't want to work with the group. They derailed everything. It's like, why are you even wanting to play this at RingCon if you just want to fuck with it? With the space one, though, I think I was with you.
You might have been.
I think because I blast.
Yeah, I think for a new player though, that could be a little complicated because you really got to be able to kind of be able to role play and come up with stuff where you don't have as defined mechanics for some of the things. You kind of really got to just kind of go with the flow on that one. I've only partially played it once, so.
The first time I played it, the creation, I took a big back seat. And I let the people at the table who had done it several times before really build a big part of it. But once I realized what I was doing, I was like, oh, okay. And my GM was really kind and let me slide data in after, kind of like Gunther's, no, really, this really did happen. Because I said it really did happen. And he was and the rest of the table was really generous because I was still kind of new.
Yeah.
But it's like Kelly said, you have to be playing with the right kind of people. I don't like playing any game with people who are like, my job is to make this fail. What?
Yeah, that poisons the well.
Why are you
contrary for contrary's sake?
Like, why are you playing?
Right.
Like,
exactly.
Why are you taking up my time to have fun? Like, I get that you think that this is fun, but if you're the only person in the space having fun, go find a different crowd to have fun with.
Yep.
Yeah.
See, I will throw out there the easy RPG to play is Dragonbane by Free League, because it's basically D&D. If you can play any of the D&Ds, you can play Dragonbane, and it's a roll under system. So for all of us D20 throwers out there, you just have to roll the number or lower on your character sheet, and it's success.
Yeah, it looks pretty simple, but I haven't played it yet,
that does
so
that?
I don't know.
There's
several.
the Modifius has the 2d20 system, which is roll under, but you end up getting like 3 or 4 extra roll d20s, and you got to play the momentum game as a team. So that one's a lot more complicated. But with Dragonbane, it's you can always choose to, if you failed your roll, push the roll. And the mechanics really aren't super complicated, and you can make your character, if you want to do the least paperwork, you can make your character in like, I think it's 16 dice rolls and your character's done, including stats. And the nice thing is, when you roll your stats, you can pick, when you roll your 4d6, you can pick and drop the lowest roll, pick which stats go in which spots. And then you can roll your character's, background. And as you play, any character can learn any skill eventually. If you can find a teacher, you can learn magic using for any class. You're not restricted, which is cool.
Oh, that is interesting. Is it just because the magic's in the world and you just have to access it?
And you just need to find someone who will teach you, whether it's the divine, the primal, or the arcane.
Okay.
Yeah, it was pretty easy to make character. That's as far as I've gotten with the game.
Yeah, it's pretty smooth. It's basically based on the European D&D they've been playing for 30 years, since AD&D came out over there. And Kelly still wants to play Dragonbane because she can play a duck.
Wait a second. Maybe I did play.
Duck. It's a mallard. Yeah,
yep.
It's a mallard.
Yes. No, I played a mallard.
You played Darkwing Duck.
I did. He was fucking amazing.
Are you kidding? I still have an adventure I wrote up called The Ugly Duckling, and one of the characters in the creatures is a swan maiden. Basically, it's an elf, but it's an elf that can turn into a swan. So the whole campaign would be, the player group of mallards must protect the swan maiden because she's the ugly duckling.
Nice. Yeah. Well, still waiting for a one-shot of Dragonbane. So
yep, I totally have the free RPG Days adventure, which as a one-shot RPG, it is great because there's a ticking clock in the campaign.
Is it a one-shot or a one-shit campaign?
Yeah, you did say that.
It really depends.
You guys, I posted a picture of the duck that I played.
In
this
Facebook
was my guy.
Or in
here in
Skype?
In Skype, because I want Kelly to be able to see it.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
you guys,
that's the mallard. That's the mallard from.
He's amazing. And then
I saw that, I'm like, oh my god, a duck with a bad attitude. Oh my god.
Yeah, I can't see a party of them because that's part of the trade is bad attitude.
Yes, because they're ducks and ducks have bad attitudes.
Ducks. Okay.
No,
come on, Disney did that decades ago.
Yep.
They were mighty. My GM's son, for his birthday, they did a campaign in this, and it was called Whoops All Ducks. It was a party of ducks, but they were all kids. Like, the oldest one was, I think, 11 or 12. And so a whole bunch of kids got together and played a flock of ducks. Come on.
It's like just watching DuckTales.
Do-do-do.
Funny.
Shoot skis.
And on that
I did play that game. It was fun.
On that note, I think it wraps up RPGaDAY for easiest RPG. I mean, if you can hear us go off about ducks, you can play this RPG. Time for some Star Wars. Wait a minute, where we left off, I thought somebody was about to get stabbed.
Which is a
yeah, a droid.